glitters, this is Raquel here with Paints and Glitter, and today I'm coming to you with the Tonic Studios absolutely adorable bundle called Under the Sea Layering Die Frame Set, Under the Sea Shakers and Sentiments Set, and also the shaker pockets. So just very quickly to describe what you'll get in this bundle. The shaker pockets do have a total of 10 little pockets. They're very easy to use. It is super user-friendly if you're new to creating shakers. So it's practically a little clear envelope as you see here, and it has a little adhesive tab. You fill it with your little sequins and beads and then fold it over, and that's it. So my recommendation is that when you do fill it in, and I'm going to share that in a separate little tutorial, is that you use your red liner adhesive tape to attach it to your cards. That's just a really good option. And here in this set, this is the Under the Sea Shakers and Sentiments die set. This is going to allow you to create an adorable array of different shakers, from very playful and whimsical to elegant if you like. This has 22 dies, and it has several different sentiments. One of them is Sending Oceans of Love. This one here says, You are fantastic. So some punny sentiments here. This one says, See you soon, but the word see is S-E-A as in ocean. This one here says, You are my anchor. And then this one says, Make a splash. I have used a couple of these, I think a total of 3. And then you get these nesting dies, one of them of course larger than the other, just slightly. And this one is the dolphin. There's also a seahorse, a fishtail, a star, and an anchor, as well as the shell. So what this allows you to do is to cut into your paper and then also cut a layer, if you would like to, of a larger piece of paper behind. Use them together nested. So I'm going to share, of course, an example with you. But it is so adorable. This is one of the most fun sets I think I've ever used from Tonic Studios. It was hard to stop to create the video, but I absolutely love it. I was born in the Caribbean, and I think that kind of influenced my thinking. I don't know. Next is this one here. This has a total of 8 dies, and the largest one is 4.8 inches by 6.6 inches. It's a wonderful size for a card base. And yes, I'll have a sample of that, of course. So this one is going to come like this. And as you can see here, it has a large shape. This one cuts the base of your card if you want to make a shaped card, but it is just a solid layer. That one can be coupled with this larger piece here. That is an absolutely stunning frame just on its own. It has seashells all around the perimeter and coral. I think it's so gorgeous. And then it also has this smaller piece here, which is rectangular. So you can definitely make a small card with that as well if you'd like. And layered with that is this other piece here, and this also has little seashells, sea stars, and the like all around the border. And then it has this opening here. This does not cut out, but it does stipple little dots on the top. And then you can definitely couple that one with this little arch frame here, which is gorgeous. It couples with this little piece here that does not cut the edges, but it does cut into your paper, and you're going to see how beautiful that looks. And then another even smaller arch is included, and that one also has a little piece here that has an anchor. It has a shell, a seahorse, a sea star, and a tiny bit of seashell there, as well as some seaweed. It is absolutely adorable. This set is just so elegant. I think, even though the pieces are ocean theme, I just found it to be absolutely gorgeous. So I think if you get it, you're going to have a lot of fun with it. I know that I did, and now I'm going to share with you what I made. The first card that I'm going to share with you is this one here. I think it is stunning, and of course there's all that glimmer of the shaker bits that are inside of this card. To make this absolutely beautiful card, what I did is that I used both of these little seahorse dies. The first thing that I did was I cut into the background using the smallest one. I then took the larger seahorse and I cut some white cardstock. And once that was done, I placed the smaller one right on top of the pieces of paper and cut them again. That allowed me to have this beautiful silhouette that you see here in white, and it helps it have some contrast. Now the background I did color using Nuvo Mica Mist sprays. The first thing that I did, however, is that I took a stamp from the Sassy Seashell collection, and you may recognize that seashell pattern. What I did with that is that I used a clear embossing ink that you can get from Tonic, and I did heat emboss it using the Pearl Luster embossing powder. So that's not going to be part of the video, but it's a simple stamp, and then you sprinkle the powder on top and heat emboss it, and it'll transform the paper into that gorgeous glimmer. Then after doing that, what I did was that I used these two sprays along with this other gold one. So for this, I did use the Oriental Fuchsia, the Midnight Horizon, and also the cream gold sprays. I went ahead and sprayed that paper while it was in one of the kit boxes very lightly, and I got this gorgeous combination of colors, and it is so elegant. So behind that, of course, I used the little pouch, and I filled that with sequins from my stash that you may see peeking through there, as well as the muted mauve hexagons. That's from Nuvo. Then in the background, what you see is a pink piece of cardstock. That's 110-pound cardstock. And what I did with that is that I took the leftover spray nozzles here, whatever was there, and I just started flicking that onto the paper and also trying to empty the nozzles, and that's where I got the beautiful color that you only see now on the edge there. This is layered, so it's nice and dimensional. And then the ribbon here is from Craft Perfect. It's Crafter's ribbon in ivory white. I did take one strand and I sliced it in half to create my little bow here that's really shabby because it's tattered. To finish this card, I did take some leftover sequins and then just glued them about with my Tonic Nuvo adhesive. So this is a top folding card. On the inside is the smaller frame. I did color the edge of that using the Cameo Pink Nuvo pen, Aquaflow pen. And that just gave me a nice matching edge there to the inside of the card. And of course, I think it's absolutely adorable. So I think this would even be great for a wedding. Moving along, the next card that I made is much more playful and interactive. I used on this card the Turquoise Lake glitter card on the little seahorse that you see here. I did use the smaller frame from that die set, and I did some inlay, and for that I used different colors of Nuvo crystal drops, and then I did do some inlay of paper, and for that I used the mirror card in rose platinum. That's what you see over here with the star that I cut 3 times, and I used 3 different colors of paper, and so that gave me that gorgeous shine there. So I do have Tidal Wave mirror card here. And then the green one is actually the Fresh Mint Pearl card. And then here you see the Craft Perfect Teal Blue card. I did layer the sentiment here. It says make a splash. So I cut out that teal paper, and in the background I cut out the shadow using the shadow die that came in this set. And I did use pearlescent Nuvo mousse to make sure that that had a nice elegant finish to that. Here are some more little drops that I've used all around just to continue that shimmery color. And I love this interactive card because when you open it, you just hold it like so. And the one making the splash is actually the little dolphin that shows up once you open the card. And I thought that was so much fun. So over here, what you see are remaining little frames that I cut using, again, the nested dies, and then yet another frame here that is layered, and I did take advantage of different glitter drops that I have, as well as different pieces of leftover paper and mirror cardstock, glitter cardstock, and here I did use a specialty card that Tonic had in the past that looks like ocean waves. I thought that was perfect for this. And then using the teal cardstock, I cut out the little dolphin and then added a little touch of glitter there, which you can do very easily. All you need to do is use one of the crystal drops. This one happens to be clear. And then on top of that, you can sprinkle whichever color glitter you have just very lightly, and you can get that effect just like that. I really like the results of this card. I had a lot of fun putting it together and making it have this cute little interactive feature, so I hope that you like that as well. Now, the other card that I made was using the entire frame. As you can see here, it is absolutely stunning. There's so much detail, and I just went to town playing with my Nuvo Drops. But the first thing that I did was that I used the largest piece of the die and cut out that solid piece that you see there in the background. For that, I did use pearlescent paper and blue cashmere. This was a paper made available that I didn't see listed in the site at the moment, so I'm sorry that I won't be able to put that in the listing, but I topped that off using the more delicate frame here, and I did cut that out in apricot orange Craft Perfect card. Behind that, I have some Tropical Tide glitter card, and that allows that blue shine to pop through, but I did use the smaller die combination there to create that little arch that's more detailed that I had mentioned, and behind it is the little pocket that creates the shaker. So if you see there, you're going to see all of those little sequins back there. And then finally, I topped it off with the sentiment that reads, "Sending oceans of love," and then used Nuvo Drops in different colors just to color right on top of that sentiment, which is backed up in vellum. And that gave me that nice, delicate look that I love. And this is also a top folding card. So in the pictures, it'll look a little bit better, I think. But again, you just fold your paper, give yourself a little piece there that's going to adhere to the front, and then run that through with your die cutting machine, and you'll be able to create the same style of card. And last but not least, what I did was that I had taken the paper, the watercolor cardstock that I was using, and kind of dipped into the colors that were left in the box from having sprayed this paper. And I got this kind of combo here, and it's more purpley, it's a little bit darker, but I thought I wanted to make use of it, so I did cut out a larger rectangle out of it using the same die set. Then I backed that up with oyster gray cardstock. That's also framed with silver card, and then the larger piece of gray cardstock in the background. And then what I did was that I took the smallest die of the set there, I cut it out of the same watercolor card, and then I did color in the little details there using different Nuvo markers, and then I topped it off with just a little bit of the clear crystal drops so that it looks like it's a tiny bit wet, but you get a little bit of glimmer and shine on that card as well because of the gold splatter. That's also popped up with the Craft Perfect Dimension adhesive, the little squares that you can use. And it's nice and elegant, and I love the inside because here I use the sentiment that says "See you soon." I did back that up in vellum and then use yet another piece of that card cut out of the same little arch there. So I wanted to show you how you can use that inlay piece if you want to, or you can use it as a solid piece depending on the look that you're going for. So this again was so much fun. And if you want to stay tuned, then you're going to see me assemble this card here. I figured I should give you an example of how to go about that. But again, I want to thank Tonic Studios for sending me these items, and I do encourage you to pick up the same collection. I mean, you can't go wrong. You're going to be able to make so many adorable projects to encourage your friends and loved ones. So as I always say, I thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you can be inspired and be blessed. To make this particular card, I have decided to use the seahorse. It happens to be my favorite shape in this collection. You're going to notice, of course, there are two separate dies, a larger one and a slightly smaller one. What you want to do is that you want to cut into your paper with the smaller one of the two when you're making a shaker. And that's what I've done here. On this panel, which I'm going to share with you, what I did was that I took the stamp from the Sassy Shell bag, and that was a kit that you could get from Tonic Studios. You may have it. And I did stamp onto the background, which is watercolor paper. I heat embossed that with the Pearl Luster embossing powder from Tonic Studios. So I did use the clear mark ink. Once I had that nice and embossed, and yes, I did stamp it multiple times, I proceeded to color the paper. I did use mica mist in several different colors to color the background that you see here. One of them was Midnight Horizon. I also used Oriental Fuchsia, and I went ahead and also used the Sparkle Spray in Cream Gold. That's how I got this color that you see here. It was a very light mist, but of course the color payoff is absolutely stunning, and you can make custom colors for card making or projects by using them. I also took a 110-pound cardstock out of my stash that's in pink, and as you can see there, what I did was that once I was done coloring this paper, I took the leftover ink that was in the nozzle. So you're going to take that out to clean it anyway. And I just went ahead and splattered this pink cardstock, and then I also tried to keep spraying it to empty out that those little spritzers as much as possible. So I got this background here. And if you're curious, I did use Tonic Studios dies for these cards. They look like this, and it's an older set, so this is no longer available. However, it is a nesting set, and with that nesting set, I cut out with the smallest rectangle the shape that's going to be the front, and then of course the background with a larger one. Using the largest rectangle, I also made a card base. You can do this by measuring the height of your die and then adding 1/2 inch for the back card, which you're then going to fold at that 1/2 inch mark, place it under your die, run it through your machine, and then using that fold, you can adhere it to the top portion, and that's how you're going to get your top folding card base. And all you get is a little tab here that you need to adhere. So what I'm going to do next is adhere the background. And of course, we're going to use a shaker pouch. So I'm going to place this here. Now, my card I had accidentally cut into, so I just put double-sided adhesive. I'm going to match it up exactly with the card base that I created. See here, using the two dies, you can nest them together and get a little piece that looks like this. So that's going to match exactly the border here. And I'm going to now add those, only to give a little bit of contrast on this card. And this is just leftover 110-pound cardstock that you can see here. And you don't want to throw these out because these are now stencils, and you can actually layer them together if you like and adhere them nicely. And now you're going to be able to use this as a stencil to color with. Then also the pieces that pop out of that card, both the white and the one that you cut into, are good for a new card. So nothing goes to waste. If you need time for this to dry, make sure you grab an acrylic plate or something nice and heavy and flat and leave it to one side, so that way your paper doesn't curl up. And while that's drying, take advantage of the little pouches that you got in this set. There are 10 little shaker pockets. They measure 3.8 by 4.9. I'm pointing that out because that's a measurement you want to have in mind when you're designing your cards. So you want to make sure that there's enough room to hide the little pocket, but they come with adhesive already prepared for you to fill. And I think they're absolutely phenomenal. So I'm going to take mine, and because of the color palette that I chose, I did pick out the muted mauve hexagons from Tonic Nuvo, and that is just a spectacular color. And of course you can just use that if you want, or if you want to, you can mix it up with other colors. I happen to have this little spoon here that was given to me by a lovely friend, and that's what I'm going to use to fill this up. And anything that falls on my table, I'll just pick up later and add to the front of the card. Here is take away the backing of the double-sided adhesive. Go ahead and fold that over, and now you have your little pouch of sequins. And this is ready to go. And I like that it's not too bulky because it's perfect for your projects. And if you find that a few kind of snuck out, don't worry, because you're going to be able to add more adhesive to this. So where I have my fold line there, I'm actually going to follow that up with red line adhesive because I want to make sure that my little pouch doesn't accidentally sneeze. That's what I'm calling it. And I'm going to take my scissors and grab my red line adhesive and place it right there on that edge. It just makes life a whole lot easier to use what you have. This Craft Perfect tape is excellent because it provides really high tack, and as you can tell, I keep mine on my little roll here. This is just because I like to keep my adhesive rolls clean, and for some reason I find that that helps me to just keep it all in the same packaging. So I just grab what I need and I put it right back in here. I grab my panel and I kind of size it up again. If you can tell, it's the perfect size for that little pouch. I also have 2 pieces of red line tape here. So before I add my little pouch there, I'm actually going to take some Crafters ribbon in ivory white, and I'm going to add this to the back of my card. So I'm just going to measure out a little piece here and cut that down. Okay, and now I can go ahead and place my little pouch on the back. This is a great little tool. It comes in handy if you're taking off the lining of the red line adhesive. Just make a little ear mark there and then pull away. Mine sticking to my bracelet. Okay, now that I have my little pouch nice and ready, it's just a matter of lining it up with the background, and I'm going to place it right on top of everything else, leaving myself room on the edges so that I can adhere it also to the base. I'm going to press it nice and firmly, making sure there's no little pockets there. And now I have my little shaker. So very pretty. Okay, now that I've applied adhesive on the back of my card, I'm going to just lay this right on top, leaving that little border all the way around. And it's quite dimensional, but it's just something a little different than what I usually make. I do make dimensional cards, but not typically this much. I'm just making sure that this is nice and clean. Okay, I'm now going to take that ribbon and I'm going to make a double bow. However, I'm going to actually cut this in half lengthwise. So I'm going to take my scissors, I'm going to cut out a piece long enough, and then I'm going to cut this right down the middle using these nice sharp scissors that you can get from Tonic. And the way to do this, of course, is to aim it right at the center with the point of your scissors. And this is going to be a tiny bit shabby when it's all said and done. Once you have your ribbon exactly how you like it, and you can fray it as much or as little as you want. Okay, you're going to just take your ribbon and hold it with your ring finger, pinch it there, because you're going to loop it between your middle and forefinger. Okay, starting with your pointer finger, loop it over, loop it behind your middle finger, over your pointer finger, and behind your middle finger. You're gonna have to gauge the length of this, of course, so you have enough. So it's over, under, over, under. The little tail you're gonna bring between your fingers and make sure that it goes right over that initial ribbon piece and behind all of the other loops that you created, just like that. And then that little tail you're going to feed through what you just looped to create a knot. And of course, this is going to take a little practice if you're new at it. And of course, depending on the length of your ribbon, it might be a little bit tight initially, but you can definitely play around with it. That little tail, just pull as hard as you can. That's going to create your little knot. Okay. And because you had looped it around your fingers, you now have a double loop bow, and it is frayed. I did that on purpose, but I think it's going to look super adorable. What's left over, slip it right behind the one that you've already placed there and kind of find your little middle ground there. Place your little bow where you want it and use that second ribbon to help you tie it down. And just pull on that, making sure that you have your bow placement first. And then now you can tie a little square knot here if you'd like to. All right. Once you have your little bow the way you like it, you can keep playing with it if you want, or you can add a little gem there to the center. Grab my little pearl, place it right there, and I'm going to be gentle with it. Make sure that it's in the correct place. Fell out, and place them right back there. Just like that. Kind of a little surprise shine here and there. That completes this little card. I thank you so much for watching. This was so much fun to make. And as I always say, I hope that you can be inspired and be blessed. And I thank you so much for watching.